That Sober Guy podcast contains adult content, merciless truth, and emotional nudity. Listener discretion is advised.
Howdy. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Shane Raymer. You're listening to That Sober Guy podcast, and we help people stay sober. You can check us out at thatsoberguy.com. You can connect with us on Instagram at RealThatSoberGuy and on Twitter at Shane Raymer. Hey, we just put some new hoodies out yesterday, the California style. If you go to the Instagram page at RealThatSoberGuy on Instagram, of course, like I said, you can find the link there and a couple of pictures. We got a red one, a blue one, a different color blue one, and a black one with the cool I think it's cool. You can check it out and see for yourself. But it says That Sober Guy podcast, established 2013. We help people stay sober with some good color schemes in there and some palm trees in the background, rocking that California life. Sober life, that is. Good to have you here. If it's your first time, welcome. Glad you're here. Thanks for tuning in. You're in the right place, as they say. I think you're in the right place. Depends on the day, actually. Who's crazy? We're all a little crazy, right? If you ain't crazy, you ain't living. 5 things I learned by climbing a mountain with a 66-pound piece of rebar on my back. We're going to talk about that today. Shout out to the Sunday session homies. Man, good times this last weekend. And a shout out to my daughter Lucy, who brought me an emergency cherry pie today. I'm out working in the office garage office, whatever you want to call it. And because we know of all the sheltering in place and quarantine and social distancing, we're on lockdown, brother. Hey, I just want to tell you we're all free, okay? I'm a free human being. I believe in freedom, and so should you. So, yes, practice staying safe and washing hands and keeping distances for this short period of time that we need to do it. But don't forget that you're a free human being as this thing unfolds. That's one of the most important things. God gave us freedom, the human right of freedom, and I will never let that be taken away from me or my family to the best of my ability. And I just want to encourage you to start ingraining that mindset as well. That said, the emergency cherry pie, so the kids are home. Jess is doing schoolwork. She is being teacher and mom and going back to work. Well, not really going back to work, just kind of helping cut some friends' hair. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how she's feeling, making sure we're practicing good hygiene and keeping our own family safe as well as other families. So trying to juggle all this stuff and have somewhat of a normal, whatever normal life is through all this crap. But Lucy comes out today after they went out to the store to pick up a couple things, and she says, "Dad, I got you a gift." And I said, "What? What is it?" She goes, "Here you go. It's a cherry pie, baby." She said, "It's for emergencies only." So I put a little note on it. Dad's cherry pie, emergencies only. Stuffed it on my desk right here. So I got the emergency cherry pie just in case. Now, I got a lot of great resources for you in this episode, from online AA meetings, live stream in church if you're hungry for some church action. We got a great church here that we're a part of, the Father's House. So I'll give you that link in the show notes. Is it like hailing out right now, or? Oh, it's like raining, and it's kind of weird. It was sunny just a little bit ago. Now it's freaking coming down. But I also have some ideas on how to stay fit, kind of how to deal with stress, just get you through some of these times right now that are weird and a little bit different, a little challenging, a little anxiety and fear that we've been, hearing about and stuff. But don't worry, things are going to be just fine. I can promise you that. God's will be done, and I ask him to grant me the power to carry it out. It's as simple as that. His will, not mine. I'm not in control. None of us are in control at the end of the day. And when we realize that and we surrender, life becomes a hell of a lot easier. I can promise you that from my own experience. So it ain't perfect, though. Don't get me wrong. It ain't perfect, but it's a lot easier when we're able to surrender, give that up. So what did I learn by climbing a mountain with a 66-pound bar of rebar on my back? we're going to talk a little bit about that too. And I had mentioned that already, but first we got to do a couple of things. I got some announcements. I want to share with you these links to find some live meetings and some resources for you. But this episode of the podcast is brought to you by Promises Behavioral Health. And Promises is a family of mental health and addiction treatment centers. They're based out of Nashville, Tennessee, and they're ready to help you or your loved ones stay committed and achieve your promise of recovery, even through times of uncertainty, especially, should I say, through times of uncertainty. They got a great team. They got a lot of good people that are in recovery themselves, family members that are in recovery, friends that are in recovery. They get it. They're a very passionate community and very professional about the business that they conduct. And I would definitely recommend giving them a call if you have some questions about yourself, about a loved one. Let me tell you how you can do that. I can get more information. If you'd like to go to their website, you can see some great pictures of myself, of our family on there, because we've partnered with them to help bring recovery to the light and show that families can recover and have a great, fulfilling, fruitful, awesome, gratitude living life in sobriety. And here's how you can see some of those photos and check out the great page there with all the info. Go to promisesbehavioralhealth.com/soberguy. That's promisesbehavioralhealth.com/soberguy. Or if you want to just call and you want to talk to a specialist there, you can do that as well. It's 888-205-1890. That's 888-205-1890. Tell them that you heard about them from that Sober Guy podcast. Now, let me tell you about some live meetings you can jump on since most of the 12-step clubhouses and in-person meetings in all different platforms of 12-step, non-12-step are closed right now. My sponsor, Buddy C, many of you have heard him on the podcast. He's heading up an online daily AA meeting via Zoom. It's every night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm on there a couple times throughout the week. Was just on there last night. We had a great meeting. It was the topic was surrender. I got to pick the topic actually, which is amazing. Always enjoy being able to do that because I get to be in control. Damn it! Yes, see how that goes, man. Start control stuff. I have control issues. What can I say? I'm working on it. I'm not perfect, but I did get to pick it. It was awesome. Surrender was a great topic. A lot of good people sharing in there from all around the country. So here's what you can do if you want to jump in there and check that one out. You can go to www.zoomaaemails.com and you jump right in. You can download the app on your phone. You can do it from your desktop, your laptop. Jump right in there. Check it out. Lots of good folks in there. Get your meeting in. I also want to tell you about Rooted. Rooted is Promises Behavioral Health's alumni communities, and my buddy Patrick from Promises heads up this community. There's plenty of online meetings to choose from. Rooted is offered weekly online through virtual meetings on the Zoom platform as well. Meetings are welcome to all people in all forms of recovery, no matter what you're recovering from or what brought you to recovery. You can go to www.promisesbehavioralhealth.com/rooted. You can get the calendar there to see what meeting works best for you. One more time, that's promisesbehavioralhealth.com/rooted. How about church? The Father's House here in Vacaville is live streaming service every Sunday at 9, 10, and 11 a.m. Pacific time. If you want a great word from a church that believes in the word and loves God, check it out. You can go to www.tfh.org. and that'll give you all the info, or you can go directly to their YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and type in the Father's House Vacaville or TFH Vacaville, and you'll see their channel pop up. Shout out to Pastor Dave, all the team there. Love those guys doing amazing things in keeping spirits up and people who are hungry for God's word. And shout out to TFH Mens too. We did the podcast last week. That was amazing on Friday night. And speaking of that, you can check that out on iTunes or Spotify. It's TFH Mens Podcast. Just type that in. It will come up. We're doing a men's group on there. So if you go on their Instagram, I think they will announce when that is. We do a live men's meeting Friday nights, and we're doing them at Zoom right now. So that's TFH_men's or TFH_men, I think, if you go on Instagram. Let's see, just a couple more. I know we're doing a lot of announcements. It seems like that, but these are more than announcements. I really want to give you guys some solid resources that you can use and that you can share, and you can share with other people in your family, friends, whatever else. So just a couple more. Daily AA emails is another one to help stay connected. And this is about staying connected, guys. It really is. Stay connected. Like, there's resources there, but we kind of gotta shift a little bit. We got to adjust. One of my favorite quotes from the movie Moneyball is Brad Pitt's character is playing Billy Bean in there, and he says, adapt or die. And that's straight up what we're doing right now. Like, we need to adapt. We need to adjust. You know, those of us that have some recovery time, this isn't anything new. We've had to do this kind of stuff before. We're trained for it. We've practiced it. We continue to practice it, and we just need to do it. We adapt, we adjust, we flex, we go with the flow. And that's how we're going to get through this thing together, guys. So I just want to encourage you, stay connected, reach out, use these resources, daily AA emails. If you go to, let me just make sure I got that right, because I think we changed that recently. Yes, it's www.dailyaaemails.com. You can get an AA email delivered right to your inbox every day. I use it. It's one of my favorite things to use in the morning when I start my day. A little prayer, a little meditation, some big book quotes in there. That way you can use it. Like, you can use it anytime throughout the day, of course. It only takes 5 minutes to read. They got a podcast link to it if you want to hear an audio version of it. It's good stuff. It is really, really good stuff. It's a great tool, and it's easy to use. What else? Podcasts, man. Check out Recovery Elevator. Check out Dopey. Check out Share. Check out Sober Meditations. Tao of Our Understanding. I love some Adam Carolla. Dr. Drew has some great episodes, some great updates. What else, man? Last week's show, my buddy Trent from CrossFit, Vacaville North, and Armada Strength. If you're looking for some tips on how to stay fit at home right now while you're working from home, how do you stay in shape? That's episode 310. You can check that out. Just one more time before we get into this, it's just important to stay connected, my people. All the things that I mentioned, I'll put them in the show notes. You can find them, use them, and please share them. All right. So let's talk a little bit about this 5 things I learned by climbing a mountain with a 66-pound piece of rebar on my back. Unbelievable, man. It's quite the funny story. But this weekend in general, you know, that was Sunday when we did that. That's our Sunday session, men's, meetup where prior to all this BS going down with this virus stuff, we'd meet up, we'd get a workout in, and then we'd all go to breakfast together. So we haven't been able to go to breakfast, hoping to do that soon. Again, but this weekend, man, it's like a reset. It's like we had a flashback to the 80s, man. Like, families I kept thinking of the movie Flight of the Navigator. That just kept coming back to me because I heard that saying. It's a flashback to the 80s, man. Like, it was amazing. Everyone's out exercising, getting together, like spending time with their family, still practicing this social distancing crap, but at the same time, like trying to do the right thing and just be good citizens and hopefully this thing passes. But like, everywhere was outside. I mean, everyone was outside. There was people everywhere. Pina Adobe, the park by our house, we do some workouts there, some hiking there. It was packed with cars, man. Like, I heard people turning away because there were so many cars there. Someone in my family mentioned they went out there and they just turned around because it was just too much. There's people outside walking their dogs. I mean, we had our friends, shout out to the Burrells, do a positive drive-by, and send us some love. They had some signs, "We miss you." It was cool. People are coming together. People are resetting their lives. Everyone went out and got so damn busy. It was like this badge of honor that we're so busy. And this is including myself and our own family. It was school and soccer and baseball and work. And dude, I've talked about this in the past, my stress from all this. And it's funny how in this time of crisis, this time of uncertainty, a time where that we've never even seen in the history of our country, if you look at the glass half full instead of half empty, it has been it's been a reset for families out there, I think, and realizing, what is important in life, how this life is short, and it is important to spend time with our kids and really be present in the moment. And we have really been able to tap into that in this last week or two. Although with that has came a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, especially in the first few days. I wasn't really doing a good job of of staying away from certain media stuff that, I mean, the media stuff from most of it is bullshit. I'm just going to say that right there. You really need to take in, be cautious of what you're taking in, be cautious of where you're looking at sources at, and that's something that I have to be very conscious of in my own right, because I can tend to dive in head first and just get wrapped up in all this crap. And it can be a downfall for me, I guess, if I'm not careful. But we all went out and got so damn busy, we forgot what life was about. And, in this time of uncertainty, it's a great opportunity to find a relationship with God too. I just wanted to mention that. I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about trusting God personally and relying on him instead of ourselves and the world we see unfolding around us. So if we talk about just like step 11, which is something we went over in the meeting last night, like a simple prayer, I'm only praying for God's will and the power to carry that out, asking for the power to carry that out. That's it. I'm not praying for anything else because I'm not in control of anything else. I'm in control of myself, my attitude, my actions, my thoughts, all that stuff. Like, I don't need to trip and future trip on what if this and the economy and the finances. And I say that with respect to people who are going through serious stuff right now. Like, I understand that. So I definitely want to be supportive of that. I'm not, I'm acknowledging that. Okay. But at the same time, a lot of that stuff is out of our control. And there's not really a lot we can do about it. We just have to stay positive. We have to stick together. We're going to get through this stuff. I want to just ingrain that in you. Positivity, staying on that channel, prayer, meditation. When we all come together, we beat the enemy in this. We beat the negativity. We beat what's going on that is crushing us down. Then it starts with community, and it doesn't matter what community it is, as long as it's a positive influence and it's building you up and allowing you to help and serve others as well. It's a crucial time right now, even if it means staying connected digitally and online. Like, you got to stay connected. And that's what that list of resources is a great place to start, but I gave out earlier. Okay, so that said, let's talk about Sunday sessions real quick, okay? Sunday sessions, let me tell you what it is. It's a group of about 5 or 6 of us misfits who get together. Some of us have known each other for a long time. Some of us have just met. In any case, it's all like we've been kicking it together for years. Every Sunday, we get a workout in outside. Somebody in the group picks a new workout each week. So like the first week, I think it was Grady. The second week, I think it was Casey. I think then it was Sean. Then I picked a week. Keith just picked a week. And Keith's the one who picked the 5 things I learned by climbing a mountain with a 66-pound piece of rebar. Well, he picked the workout, carrying a 66-pound piece of rebar up this mountain, almost a mile. It was incredible. We've been doing it now for about 5 weeks. We got a group chat. We hold each other accountable. It's a huge thing. How many of us struggle with accountability? I know I do. If I don't have people holding me accountable, man, I can go downhill fast because I can get away with stuff. I can lie to myself. That's a very easy thing to do. Anyone can do it. Anyone can get caught up in it. You don't even know you're doing it. You're just not being honest, and that accountability with people that you trust and respect is huge. We encourage each other. We have some fun. We talk some smack too, man. You got to have a little fun, right? With the fellas, just talk nothing like that classic smack talk stuff, man, but it's motivating stuff. It's not like beating down smack talk. It's like positive smack talk, it's fun. I look forward to it every week, and it helps keep me accountable through the week too. In my eating habits, in my workout habits, in my mental health habits, my fitness habits. This is something that you guys can do. Pick a couple of friends, get together, whatever that looks like right now. I know it's a little bit different right now, but as soon as this thing passes and we can kind of get back to some sort of normalcy where we can all start meeting again. Let me just remind you, we're free people. We are free. Just want to drop that in there again. Okay. We're free people. We're free-minded, freedom of thought, freedom of speech. Okay. So don't let anybody tell you different. But everyone picks a new workout. It started with some hikes at Pina Adobe, like I said. Then it ended up at the park for some running and conditioning. And somehow from there, it went to climbing a mountain with a 66-pound bar of rebar on our backs. Whew, man, it was a damn good workout. I'll tell you that. The meetup, so there's a place in Vacaville. It's called Mixed Canyon. And it's funny, man, because it's not too far from my house. It's only about maybe a 10-minute drive out to the country on the north side of town. And, we used to go out there as kids and teenagers and, hey, pipe down in there. I'm trying to record a podcast. What are you guys doing? Okay, see, this is how social distancing goes. We're all stuck crammed in this house. Dad's trying to do a podcast. Cash is trying to do karate. What are you doing, karate kicks? Dang, that was sick, bro. Roundhouse. Jump kick. Oh, he just fell. He just fell, ladies and gentlemen. Come say hi to the people. Come say hi. Come on. Hop on here. We're talking about 66 pounds of rebar, strapping them onto our backs and carrying them up a mountain. Yeah, what have you been doing to work out and stay fit, dude? Talking to this microphone right here, son.
I have been...
Okay, back up just a little bit.
I have been
there you
doing...
go. What have you been doing?
I've been climbing my that closer thing that I have my games in.
Box jumps?
Yeah, and I do jump ropes and I do push-ups and then...
Yeah.
And I do sit-ups in my room and I...
Kettlebells?
And I lift weights and that's it.
You're like so buff, dude. Let me see those muscles. Dang, son, those are huge. No, I'm not taking the headphones off. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for chiming in. Tell the people have a good one.
Have a good one.
Communicate. Stay connected.
Communicate. Stay connected. Hope you have a good day. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Cash Raymer.
I'm doing another karate.
All right. Good job. All right. So let's talk about the meetup here while these guys head back inside. Later, Cash. Love you, buddy. See, man, we've been connecting this is an opportunity, right? It's an opportunity to connect with our families, work out together, hang out together, be present, be in the moment. And that's what we've been doing. But let's get back to how this unfolded, this workout last Sunday, because there's some great points I want to share real quick. So the meetup happens. Where was I at? I was talking about Mixed Canyon. So Mixed Canyon's a spot. A lot of people used to go up there and party back in the day, man. It's way out in the cuts in the country, and it's like a 5-6 mile drive up this gnarly mountain. It barely fits 2 cars on it, and you get to the top and you can see the whole valley, and it's really beautiful, especially if you catch it like we did this morning when the sun was coming up. We were up there early, about 7 o'clock. Geez, man, what are they breaking the kitchen in there? Good Lord, lady. We get up there and first we all parked, right? We park at the bottom of the hill because Keith says, hey, I got a gift for you guys, right? So we kind of knew this coming in because we don't know what the workout's going to be. So he says, I got a gift for you guys. So we show up and my boys Phil and Shane meet me at the house at 6:30 and we hop in the ride. And we cruise out there. I think we were listening to some Terror, or Grady pulled up listening to some Terror. That's what it was. I turned it on. He influenced me that morning, and we were getting down though up the mountain. But on our way out there, we pull up, and a couple of the guys were there already, and Keith's there, and they say, well, why don't you take a look in the truck? I think Roach was another buddy I actually just met that day. And he goes, man, look in the back of the truck. So I don't know what we're doing at this point, right? So I look in the back of the truck and I'm like, whoa, that looks heavy. And there's probably 10 or so, I didn't know how much they were later. Sean actually weighed them out, I think the next day or something, but it ended up being 66 pounds of these, roughly 4 or 5 foot length pieces of rebar. And actually came from I don't want to say where they came from. They came from a place in the Bay Area, and there are just they're about 3-4 inches thick, around, at least somewhere around there, maybe 3 inches, and so Keith explains, here's what we're doing. We got a little under a mile. We're going to drive up there and we're going to carry these things. And I made 2 points. At each point, we're going to stop. We're going to do 30 air squats. We're going to start together and we're going to finish together. That's it. And we're all like, all right. Now, mind you, my buddy Shane, who I got to give mad props to, I had just happened to invite him out. I didn't know what we were doing that day. I said, hey man, you want to come out? We're probably going to hike a little bit, exercise. I didn't know what we were doing. So he didn't know what he was getting into. And my buddy Phil and Roach, man, are the two guys they're trying to lose some weight. They're they're in there, both strong dudes, big dudes, man, just strong, strong-minded, willing, and hungry for some change and hungry to get after it. But up a hill carrying that stuff is no easy task, even for somebody who's in pretty damn good shape. And, but the thing was, here's what the thing was, is that all of us were in, whoa. I just had to stop in my tracks because there was some gnarly thunder and lightning right there. Dang. I think I'm scared. I'm like my dog. I want to go hide under the table right now. That was very scary. Well, you were very scary. The freeze motherfucker part was pretty scary. Oh, cool. My boy Mark Saratella is going to call. Not in on this podcast, but we're gonna do a podcast. We're gonna have some fun on that one. Looking forward to that. In any case, here was the deal. Here was what I was getting at. Sorry, I got sidetracked there. Okay. We were all in this together. We're all in this together. We're going to start together. We're going to finish together. We're all at different, some of us are in probably similar shape. I'd say that's pretty fair. Probably 3 or 4 of us. And then, 3 or 4 of us are working on it, man. And it's irrelevant, dude. We all started somewhere and we all are going to keep going. You know what I mean? And we're all going to do it together. That's the point of this. Even Keith, man, Keith's got he got a knee replacement and an issue with the hip. He had a hip replacement or an issue with his hip. I can't remember exactly. But dude is just a savage, man, out there just getting after it, man. And no excuses. And, just not only trying to build our physical fitness, it's actually much more about mental toughness and trying to strengthen that mind up, to be hard and be able to be strong, strong-minded, physically strong, of course. But so we pick these things up, okay, and we start walking, man. I slap this thing on my back, and it's heavy, and it's definitely heavy, man. And we're going up a hill, straight up, going up a mountain, going up the side of a mountain, and some of us are at a little bit further than the other one, but we get to these points that Keith marked out and we stop there and we wait. And some of us go back down while we're waiting for our brothers who are still coming back up. And what do, man? We help them. We pick them up. We help them. They help us too. You know what I'm saying? Just by seeing, like, I guess the concept of that part of it is when I help somebody else, I help myself too. One of the best things that my sponsor, has taught me is that when we're in a time of need, when we're in a time of strife, when we're in a time of fear, anxiety, what's the best thing we can do? Now, our natural tendency is to turn to try to fix it, try to fix ourselves, but that's not really ultimately what helps us. What helps us is, I'm sorry, I keep stopping because my wife is inside yelling at the kids. This is so funny, man, trying to do this stuff. Trying to not curse today. I'm in one of those moods, but we're trying to do this stuff all together, the shiznit all together. And man, it's crazy. I keep getting sidetracked, but the point is that it's in our nature to be selfish and want to control and be all up on ourselves. And when we fear, how are we going to fix this fear? All we got to do is help someone else. So as we're on this hill, for us to be able to get through this, helping each other and doing it in a team aspect and knowing we're all there to support each other is huge, man. And we all made it up the mountain. Some of us made it in different times and we all made it together. And guess what? We all made it down the mountain together. You know what I mean? We waited for each other. We picked each other up. We stuck together. We encouraged each other. We motivated each other. It was awesome, man. And, you know, my boy Shane not quitting, even though his knee was about to give out. Like his knee was just jacked up on fire. He could barely walk down the damn hill. I kept telling him, man, don't get hurt, man. Let me give you a hand. No, I got this. And I like that, man. I think there's some stubbornness in there, but it's some good stubbornness. Like I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to give up, you know? And so we have to stick together. We have to adjust. We have to have accountability, whether we're climbing a mountain with an 80 pound or 60. Sorry, that was in the notes before. I thought it was 80. We thought it was 80 pounds at one point. That was our guess. It ended up being 66. So no matter what, you know, no matter what we're doing, we have to stay connected, I guess is my point I'm trying to get at. We have to share insight, share experience so we can grow and learn from one another. And we did this mountain, we conquered it together. And here's what I'm getting at. Recovery is the same thing, man. We're all in this stuff together. We got to put in the work. We got to show up to meetings. We got to show up to, if we're doing step work, we got to show up to our groups. We got to show up for our brothers, for our sisters. We got to be there. You know what I mean? We got to encourage. We got to pray. We got to meditate. We have to pray for others. You know, when we're struggling with something, we need to be praying for somebody else. It's not an easy thing to do. I'm not perfect at it either. In fact, I suck at it some days, you know, but just the fact of being conscious of it and knowing that I need to, you know, maybe do a little bit better at that kind of stuff is a great step in the right direction. Because if we don't have each other, and this goes from whether we're trying to climb a mountain with 66 pounds on our back, or we're in recovery, or we're going through a coronavirus shit right now that nobody really knows what's going to happen. We're all in this thing together. And, you know, we pick each other up along the way. And here's the biggest thing. We don't give up. You know, none of us gave up that day on that hill, even though some of us had a really tough time. You know, I wanted to share one thing too. There was a moment, and I hope Roach doesn't mind me sharing this, but it was pretty damn amazing. You know, when he made it up to the top of the mountain, he's a strong dude, man. But, you know, he made it to the top, and it took him a minute. It was a bit of a struggle, you know, at some points, but he didn't give up. He made it to the top, and he was almost in tears, man, because that natural high of adrenaline and you know, just pure emotion in being able to have the drive to get through that and make it. It did something to him, man. And it really touched him in a spot where he made some realizations, and same thing with Phil that day too, in the prior week. But he didn't quit. And in recovery, same thing, man. You can't quit. Like I hear a lot of people saying about how they relapsed, you know, oh man, I relapsed. Like, man, I'm back at it again. 10 more, I got 10 days, you know. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant whether you got 10 years or 10 days. Like we're all just one terrible decision away from throwing it all in the garbage, man, and destroying our lives again. I'm very well aware of that. That's why I continue to try to do my best to show up and do the work, even though some days I don't want to, you know, but we don't quit, man. We keep going. Just like Shane didn't quit. He didn't throw the bar down and or have someone else carry it, even though he probably should have, because he would have had a fine excuse. My knee is broke right now, but he didn't. He kept going, man. And we get, you know, we have hindrances sometimes throughout life. We have things that get thrown at us that we don't expect. We have things that get in the way, you know, and we got to be able to fight through those things and know that we have support in the process of doing that we have people to lift us up and encourage us. Once again, sticking together. We got to adjust, stay accountable. So what are the 5 things I learned by climbing this mountain with a 66 pound of rebar on my back? There's probably more than 5 things, but let me just go over the 5 real quick and then we'll wrap this thing up. Number 1, staying connected. Okay, staying connected. How are you staying connected? There's plenty of resources here if you're struggling to stay connected. That's part of the reason I did this podcast, to put those resources out there. That's just a start. There's plenty more. You can go to thatsoberguy.com. There's more sources on there, more resources on there. You got how to navigate the first 90 days of sobriety digital course on there. You can check that out. There's the Sober Guy, Sober Girl Facebook group. all kinds of stuff, Those are just a couple of them to add to the early ones we gave up there. But how are you staying connected? Are you doing it digitally? I know it's tough right now in this time of social distancing too. I get it, but there's ways to get around it, and you got to flex. You got to adapt. Like I have to do that. So let me back that up. I need to make sure that I'm doing that stuff too. Like I'm not talking at you or telling you what to do. It's important that you recognize this on your own as well as do I. And in the digital way right now, I hate to say it, but I'm a firm believer right now that I don't think our lives will ever go back to the way that they were before. Now, are they going to go back to somewhat normal? I am definitely staying positive on that and think so. But something's changed in this country moving forward after this. Something has changed, and we're going to see a lot more digital stuff going on. That's for sure. I mean, this was already coming anyways, but now that we've been forced into this, a lot more things are going to go digital now. And so this is about a revolution of change, really, a revolution of people being able to adapt to change and be able to adjust to these new things. And there's plenty of ways to stay connected in doing that. So number one, stay connected. Make sure you're doing that. If you need some more resources, you're having trouble with any of those, you can hit me up at real.soberguy on Instagram, and I always try to answer people back. Number two, accountability. What are you doing to stay accountable? You can't stay accountable if you're not staying connected. So that goes back to number one, right? Number one was stay connected. Number two, accountable. Well, if you're not staying connected, how the heck are you going to be able to be staying accountable? So those kind of go hand in hand. So what are you doing? Do you have a sponsor? Do you have a mentor? Do you have a friend? Do you have a group? Do you have a meeting that you show up to once a week? I mean, check out any of those meetings, the Zoom AA meetings or the Rooted meetings. Pick one of those to start with. I'm not saying that has to be your home group meeting forever, but maybe it's a great place to start and get some accountability. Check out church, man. Check out church on Sundays. It's not a weird church. I promise you that. It's an awesome spot to get connected. There's plenty of things going on to get you into that community aspect, especially while a lot of us are isolated right now. Alcohol does a great job of isolating us, and drugs, isolating us, making us feel like we're alone. And now add that on top of this social distancing and social isolation because of this coronavirus shit. And man, you got a recipe for disaster right there for so many people, so we have to have people and groups and stuff to stay accountable and to stay connected to. Number three, praying and meditating. Let me take a quick drink here. My throat's a little raspy. I'm drinking the Bang today. I didn't do the Clean Cause today because I don't have any more Clean Cause. I went with the Purple Haze. The Purple Haze, man. All right. Praying and meditating, number three. This life, let me say this. This life, let me say this. This life is a spiritual battle. And right now, and I touched on this a little bit about the family thing with the weekend, is really an opportunity to search inside and find the true connection to something higher than ourselves that can restore us, that can get us through the tough times. Our minds are so powerful, as are our thoughts. So, what we think, we can really make happen. I really believe that. Like the power of thought, the power of the mind is so powerful. And that's why when we talk about meditating, we talk about, our mindfulness, not taking things personal. That mind is so powerful. I'm very well aware that it's not connected to my heart and my soul anymore, because my heart and my soul is good. My mind can be pretty jacked up sometimes. Some of the thoughts, some of the decisions, first thought wrong, second thought wrong. Sometimes I get it on third, sometimes third thought wrong. Usually it takes a few times, in certain circumstances and situations before I can get it. And so praying and meditating on that, sitting in silence, sitting in a spot and letting those thoughts pass and learning how to do that. Number one is tough for a lot of people. I know it's tough for me. I'm not the classic meditation person who sits and can do that all the time. I can do it, but it's short periods of time. And I actually like to do my meditation sessions while I'm walking in the morning. I know that's a little bit different for some people. Some people might say that's not meditating. Well, to me, it's a great time that I can sit and talk to God. I can sit in silence, and I can walk. and I can sit in a place that I can have some peace in and find some peace in and really let thoughts pass, learn to not take them personal. It's a great option if you have trouble like I do sitting still. Just look at your walking session, a 15, 20-minute walk as a meditation session. Try to do it in silence or put on some relaxing music. I like to put on some jazz sometimes, like some old school, like 1920s, 1930s jazz, and just get on a walk, man. I can get in the zone there. There's something that I can get connected to and talk to God and be in a spot where my spiritual connection is a lot higher before I go into my day. So it's a really, really good thing that praying and meditating, it's very huge. So staying physically active. Man, if, God gave me one body, right? And I want to use it to the best of my ability, especially being the fact that I abused it for so many years, using alcohol, using drugs, not taking care of myself, not eating right, not exercising. I want to stay physically active for my son. You heard my son out here just a little bit ago. He's in there working out in his room. Do you know why he does that? Not because I'm the best father in the world. I mean, I try to be, but I'm definitely not. I have my own flaws for sure. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to set an example for him. I'm trying to get him to see what dad's doing. Dad's showing up. Dad's getting after it, especially while they're inside right now. I don't know what's going on in there. It's like a madhouse. What is going on? I don't know. It's hilarious though. But he sees what I'm doing. And he sees what his mom's doing too. I don't want to take anything away from that too, of course. Like Jess is getting after it too. And and both the kids see that. And I don't want to be one of those dads who's old and crusty and can't even bend over to tie his shoes, and can't play with his kids or can't, coach or do anything because, I haven't taken care of myself. This is so funny right now. I'm trying to do it. I apologize. What can I do? We're quarantined. I hate when people use that word, by the way. Oh, we're just in quarantine right now. We're not in quarantine. Okay. We're free. We're free people. Just a reminder again, just want to plant that seed one more time. But anyway, stay physically active. So important. The last one, staying positive and serving others. Let's add that in there too. How are you keeping an attitude of gratitude? Like, what are you doing to serve others? It's a really strong point. It's a strong part of my recovery. That's why I do the podcast. That's why I try to show up to the meetings. That's why I'm trying to connect with people and help serve, because it keeps me out of myself. How do I serve? Helping homies up the hill with 66 pounds of rebar. How many times I'm going to say that? It just sounds cool, right? I carried 66 pounds of rebar on my back up a mountain. That's right. You know it. But it is, man. It is pretty damn cool. You try it. Hater, son. Get that hater out of here, son. Always going to have a hater. We did it. Sunday sessions. Oh, yeah. Shout out to those guys, though. This was good stuff. So I hope you guys got something out of that today. Don't forget, you're a free human being. Don't ever let anyone or anything try to convince you that you're not. Stay connected. Stay accountable, pray, meditate, stay physically active, stay spiritually active, and stay positive. Get out there and get after it. Hit us up on Instagram, @RealThatSoberGuy, on Twitter, @ShaneRaymer. Once again, I love you guys. Check out all the links for the resources in there. It's been a good time. Shout out to all the fellas from the group. Love you guys. Peace, love, and respect. Keep your blood clean. Shout out to Humans Music as well. Love this jam.